Code monkey get up, get coffee. Code monkey go to job. Code monkey have boring meeting with boring manager Rob. Rob say code monkey very diligent, but his output stink. His code not functional or elegant. What do code monkey think? Code monkey think maybe manager wanna write goddamn login page himself. Code monkey not say it out loud. Code monkey not crazy, just proud. Code monkey like Fritos. Code monkey like Tab and Mountain Dew. Code monkey very simple man with big warm fuzzy secret heart. Code monkey like you. Code monkey like you.
Hey there, Code Monkeys. As you have no doubt gathered, I am here in Ohio, staying with Matt Guyon for, what is it, 5 days?
4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's 5. It's 5 days.
Yeah, started on Thursday.
And we decided that while we were here, we were each going to sort of introduce one another to some of our favorite things. In my case, I introduced you to Superman Red Sun, which you can go to his channel to see our review of that today. But the whole idea was that we wanted to have sort of, you know, a veteran perspective versus a newbie perspective. And for me, what he had me taking a look at was Back to the Future, just the first one, not the entire trilogy.
Yeah, we didn't quite have time for that.
Overall, I really did enjoy this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't know that I'm quite as big a sucker for time travel as you are, but I definitely do like time travel, and I think that the way that they sort of approach time travel in this is pretty interesting, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For me, I really like the whole idea of the ripple traveling through history, that the timeline takes time to adjust.
Marty McFly, of course, goes back in time and he changes his own history, but he has a week to fix it. Like, he doesn't just instantaneously disappear when he messes with his parents' first meeting. So he actually has time to fix it, and of course that's plot convenient ultimately. But it does work. You know, it's more of the timeline is changing, and we have about a week until it gets to the point where Marty will no longer exist.
The issue of time paradoxes, you said, isn't really, you know, it isn't really addressed in this movie. They talk about it a little bit in the second one.
A little bit, yeah. They talk about it briefly in the second one, and I think this is something I find with any time you're looking at time travel and you're not looking at time as something that is already predetermined. Like, you can't, it's unchangeable. Like with Time Traveler's Wife, you can't actually change history. It's already as it is. And so when you don't have time travel like that, and you can change history, then you do run into the question of paradox, because if you've changed history, then why would you go back to change everything, blah, blah, blah. I think it works all right in the first movie because he didn't go back in time for any particular reason. He went back in time by accident, and that could conceivably still happen in the timeline that he created.
Yes. And I think the reason that I didn't really mind the whole paradox so much is that I think that because the movie sort of presents itself so well, at least in my opinion, I think the better, the more enjoyable the story is in any given time travel movie, the less you kind of care about things, little things like paradoxes and that sort of thing.
And that's true of anything. If the story is good, if the characters are really engaging, then you're not going to care about the little things that don't quite make sense.
It's easier to sort of suspend your disbelief if you're enjoying yourself, which I definitely did.
And really, the whole thrust of this movie is not the fact that Marty McFly went back in time. It's the fact that he is getting the opportunity to see what his parents were like as teenagers. That's really kind of the whole point of him going back in time like this, which is something that, you know, I think we've all kind of imagined, like, what, you know, we only know our parents as the old farts that they are now, but what were they like when they were our age? How were they different? How have they changed since then?
The answer, of course, being that his dad was a wimp and his mom was kind of a slut.
Yeah.
Which is not something that any boy wants to find out about his own mother.
No.
Really.
There's a lot of awkwardness in this movie.
Yeah.
There's no getting around that.
That was something that I was kind of weirded out by from time to time. I mean, it was funny, don't get me wrong, but it was just like, oh, this is weird. This is really weird.
And actually, I told you this while we were watching it, but a lot of movie making people turned this film down when it was first pitched to them, because for the time it didn't really seem like the type of movie that was being made at the time. Disney, though, actually turned it down because they thought that the mother-son relationship was too dirty.
I think, I mean, like, it is played for comedy, and, you know, like, there is something to be said for, you know, like, the whole uncomfortable comedy thing, which I enjoyed here.
Yeah. It's played for comedy, and at least from the mother's side of it, it is played very innocently. Like, she honestly, you know, she's not carrying around the whole I'm his mother thing while she's doing it. She's just a girl who has a crush on this really kind of exotic guy who comes into town.
This sort of weird enigma who invents skateboarding and an entire genre of music.
Yeah.
And what else? He creates a mayor.
And there are definitely elements of both kind of perceptions of time, both time as something that is predetermined and time that is something that can be changed. The timeline is changed, but there are also things that already came to pass, and you have to ask the question, well, did Mayor Goldie Wilson become mayor because Marty McFly went back in time and put the idea in his head?
It seems like the attitude is that, you know, big details are the ones that matter if they're changed, but little details, not so much. Really, which I think is, you know, an okay way to go about it, and I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
And another thing that I really like about this movie is that one of my favorite things to do when I'm watching a movie, I'm a big snarker. I love to sort of riff on movies as I watch them, and my favorite kinds of movies are the movies that you are genuinely enjoying. Like, you're not making fun of it because you think it's really stupid or anything, but you're making fun of it just because you're having so much fun with the movie.
Yeah.
I think this movie really kind of engages you on that level in a really great way.
And you were actually making some of the jokes before they made them themselves.
Yeah,
like
I was proud of that.
You would riff something, and I was like, they're going to make that joke in about 5 seconds.
I've been doing it for a while. I've been making fun of movies like that since high school.
Yeah.
So I briefly considered making a count of every time that I could look at someone and say, 80s!
Yeah.
This is a very 80s movie.
A very 80s movie. And I think that's, I mean, it's partly because, it was made in the 80s, but it's also partly by design to draw the contrast between the 80s and the very obvious 50s. Like,
and it definitely doesn't feel dated.
No, it doesn't.
No, it's sort of, you know, again, no pun intended, but it's sort of a timeless
It's
story.
timeless, yeah. Because again, it's not a matter of time travel, it's a matter of meeting your parents when they were your age.
Yeah.
There is a lot of comedy, and there's also quite a bit of camp value, I think, in this film.
Yes, this was just a very genuinely funny movie.
Yeah.
And, you know, the actors were all they were great. I loved all the way everyone was played. I thought everyone was very brilliantly cast. But on the whole, I did really enjoy this movie, and I can definitely see why this one is your favorite.
Yeah.
So for me, this was definitely very easily an ultimate recommendation. I really, really did enjoy this movie a lot.
And I would also put it on ultimate recommendation.
Of course.
If taken by itself. If we're looking at the whole trilogy, then it'd probably be more of a worth owning new, but with just the first movie, I'd give it an ultimate recommendation.
So I hope you've enjoyed this tandem review. Once again, if you'd like to see us talking a little bit about Superman Red Son, you can go to his channel. I'll put a link, you know, down there, maybe one here. I don't really know. But thanks for joining us, and until tomorrow, I'll see you later.